How are we? 20 minutes, 7 predictions to make, and I still need to finalise my FPL team, so let's dive in. For my player to watch, I've been weighing up a few names this summer that have been in the spotlight. Young talents like Max Dowman and Rio Namoa are generating serious excitement, and for good reason. They've shown real promise in youth setups and in pre-season. At 15 and 16, they're poised to step up to the first team, but with limited minutes likely this season at Arsenal and Liverpool, we might only see flashes of their brilliance. They're ones to watch in the coming years, no doubt, but probably not just yet. Then there's Jack Grealish, now on loan at Everton from Manchester City, and there's a nostalgic charm to seeing David Moyes back at Everton trying to revive Grealish's spark. And even as a Liverpool fan, I'm quietly appreciating it while it lasts. It's so Barclays. Grealish is on a mission to reclaim his England spot before the World Cup, but Everton's thin squad raises questions. It's a gamble, and I'm on the fence given their lack of depth. Another contender is Stefanos Tsimas at Brighton. At just 19, he's been handed the number 9 shirt to replace João Pedro. A bold move for a club renowned for making seamless transitions when big players leave. Ultimately though, my pick is Hugo Ekitike at Liverpool. I was at Anfield last week to see him against Athletic Club, and man, Frankfurt fans must have had so much fun watching him and Marmoush link up last year. This guy has it all: technical finesse, physical presence, and an intelligent reading of the game. The chemistry he's already building with Mohamed Salah and Florian Wirtz after just a couple of weeks of training is genuinely exciting. And I know there's talk about where he fits in if Liverpool go on and sign Alexander Isak, but I'm telling you now, if you put Ekitike on the pitch, he will play football. Whether it's as a number 9, out wide, or even dropping in deeper to link up with the midfield, his versatility and quality make him my standout player to watch this season. For the Golden Boot, I'm backing Erling Haaland to reclaim this one and make it 3 in 4 years. Let me be clear, Mohamed Salah, in my view, has cemented his place as the greatest Premier League player of all time. His consistency and output over the last 8 years are extraordinary. But this season, I see Liverpool's attack evolving as part of a deliberate succession plan for when Salah does leave. I think the creative strings are going to be increasingly pulled by Florian Wirtz. And the goals are probably going to be shared across a versatile front line as well, with Ekitike in there, Gakpo, and potentially Isak. So I don't see Salah being that focal point as he has been for so many years now, but he'll still be up there in the Golden Boot race. I just don't think he'll win. Haaland, meanwhile, feels like the most settled off the top contenders. After a slightly quieter 24-25 season, he remains Manchester City's focal point, and their system is designed to feed in chances when it works. I see them regaining their rhythm under Pep Guardiola, and he should be hitting 30 goals at least in all competitions. Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Sesko have come into the league as well this year, and they're exciting additions, but adapting to the Premier League's intensity is a challenge. And let's face it, they're not on Haaland's level just yet. Alexander Isak, he's got serious goal threat as well. 44 Premier League goals in the last 2 years, but he's had a disrupted pre-season. His future's uncertain, as we know, so he might not even find his stride until September at the earliest. Dominic Solanke could be a dark horse. Thomas Frank knows how to weaponise his strikers, but Solanke's in a new-look attack with Mohamed Kudus and Matis Tel, and without the familiar service of Heung-min Son and even James Maddison, who's out this season, it'll take time for that unit to click. If they do bring in a Savinho, it'll bring in a new dynamic for their attack. But all that being said, I think Haaland's consistency and City's chance creation numbers make him the clear favourite. Okay, so the Playmaker Award. I'm going with the king, Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. But there are some honourable mentions. Cole Palmer at Chelsea is a fascinating case. Fresh off their Club World Cup win, Chelsea are stuck with that god-awful new FIFA patch on their shirts for the next 4 years. The old design was perfect, but FIFA loves meddling. Their revamped attack with Jamie Gittins, Estevao, João Pedro and Liam Delap means they should be more free scoring this season, which should release a bit of that burden from Palmer, and his assist numbers will be up there, of course. I think he'll want to be the first name on Thomas Tuchel's England team sheet as well for the World Cup. Then again, he probably won't think about the World Cup until he's on the plane there. I did have concerns about Chelsea's energy levels after their Club World Cup schedule and limited pre-season, but their squad depth is ridiculous. They fielded different 11s throughout the Conference League and Premier League campaigns last season, so they were able to keep their stars fresh. And I see Palmer hitting double digits in assists. Bukayo Saka at Arsenal is another strong shout. Arsenal fans will tell you, and I can't stand them, but they might be right here. Saka might have won this award last season if injuries hadn't derailed him. He had 10 assists, I think, before Christmas. Blistering start, and now with Victor Gyökeres in as the out-and-out striker, he's got a reliable finisher there for his crosses and cutbacks, and they won't have to rely so much on the set pieces for the creativity. Phil Foden and Ryan Cherki at Manchester City are intriguing, but they're complicated. Cherki's signing feels like a bit of a bargain considering the market right now, but I am wondering what Guardiola's up to tactically. You've got Omar Marmoush, who's immensely talented, and for me, he should be starting every game, but I don't think anyone's nailed on apart from Haaland in that attack. So I thought Foden would be on for a comeback season this year, but him and Cherki might be competing for the same creative role in that side. I'm not entirely sure what system they're building towards, so it's a bit of a question mark with City's lineup. Salah, though, is Salah. I said he might not score as many goals this season as that attack evolves at Liverpool, but his assist numbers will still be elite. I think he'll just edge out Florian Wirtz for the most assists at Liverpool. He was obviously really close to breaking that record last season, which seems unbreakable at this season. And his vision and weight of pass remain sublime, one of the most underrated aspects of his game. Okay, for player of the season, I'm going with Bukayo Saka at Arsenal. I think this is a massive year for Arsenal. We'll get to where I see them finishing a bit later on, but Saka is going to be absolutely central to it. He's their franchise player, the heartbeat of their attack, and at 24 years old, he's still young, but with years of experience under his belt, he's at the stage where he's expected to lead by example, and you can tell that he relishes that responsibility. Saka's creativity, work rate and goal threat could propel Arsenal to new heights this season. His ability to drive forward, create chances and lead both on and off the pitch make him the standout candidate for me. There are other contenders, of course. Tierney Reinders at Manchester City really intrigues me. He could be an unsung hero, especially if he gels with Rodri to restabilise City's midfield after that shaky season last year. I think that's the key to City's fortunes, really. Florian Wirtz at Liverpool is a breath of fresh air for the league. His flair and vision have all the makings of an individual award winner. And then, of course, you've got the usual suspects. You've got Salah, Palmer, Haaland, Van Dijk and Saliba. But Saka's the one I'm leaning towards on a hunch. And that's what this all is, really, isn't it? I can explain until the cows come home, but it's just a bit of fun, really, isn't it, before we're all proven wrong on the weekend. For the surprise package, the team that could outperform expectations, I'm going with Everton. Which I'll admit is a bit of a rogue shout. I don't really have any hard evidence to back it up. It's a bit more of a gut feeling call again. I know Crystal Palace are the name on everyone's lips right now, and understandably so. They won their first trophy last year with the FA Cup win over Manchester City, and they've obviously just beaten Liverpool in the Community Shield, so they got a little Wembley win streak going on. For Oliver Glasner, this summer's been more about keeping his squad together than anything else. Mateta, Guehi, Eze, they've all been linked with big moves away, and I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of those do materialise between now and the end of the window. But he's a top coach. I've rated him since his days at Wolfsburg, and obviously he's got European pedigree, winning the Europa League with Frankfurt in 2022. Palace are favourites to go far in the Conference League, but it's a bit of a disgrace that they're actually having to play in that and not be awarded with a place in the Europa League, given their FA Cup triumph last year. Put a bit of a dampener on things, but I'm not going to get into the semantics of that. The question is whether they can balance that European commitment with their domestic priorities. We've seen teams struggle with this before, and Palace aren't immune, especially if key players depart. Manchester United are another contender here, which feels absurd given the stature of the club, but also how far they've fallen at the same time. It's a bit of a confusing one, but they've never been too far from being fixable. And now with Ruben Amorim in for his first full season in charge, the Glazers are long gone, and new players have been coming in. There is potential for a turnaround. I don't know where they got all that money from, to be honest. It can't get worse than last season's 15th place mess, let's just put it like that. I'm a big fan of Brian Mbeumo's directness, and Matheus Cunha, I think despite his talent, he has a personality that feels like the kind of thing that's been an issue for United teams in recent years. Flashy but problematic at the same time, which makes his signing a bit of a gamble. Youngsters like Patrick Dorgu and Kobbie Mainoo, who's poised for a big year after a year out with injury, should excite United fans, and a potential Donnarumma signing would be a huge statement and an upgrade on Andre Onana. But United fans know better than to get carried away. Exciting off-seasons have led to disappointment over the past 12 years, and Amorim might not even last the season if results falter. I'm cautious but optimistic about their prospects this season. Strange one. Everton, though, is my pick. Even if it's more of a hunch than anything else, their move to the new Hill Dickinson Stadium is a massive moment in the history of the club, bringing fresh energy for the fans at least. The squad is still a bit thin, but signings like French striker Tieno Barry, who got 15 goal contributions for Villarreal last season, and Jack Grealish, on loan of course, suggests ambition. If David Moyes can get a few more bodies in before the window shuts, Everton could be comfortable, maybe even pushing for a top 8, top 9 finish. It's not about a dramatic leap, it's about stability, smart recruitment, and leveraging that new stadium buzz to grind out results. I can just see them defying expectations in a quite understated way, which would be nice for the club considering they've been battling relegation for the last 4 or 5 years. For the relegation battle, it'd be easy to take the lazy route here and say the promoted 3 are going to go straight back down. But that's the trend we've seen in recent years, isn't it? It suggests a bit of a problem for me in the wider football landscape. But I'm not going to be boring here. I actually fancy Leeds to stay up. Now, is it partly because I want to see a historic club like Leeds stick around? Maybe. But I think they've got the most quality amongst the promoted sides as well. They've brought in a young midfield starter in Anton Stach, and they've got the Premier League now for Sean Longstaff in there as well. They've got enough there to scrape through, I think. It's not a guarantee, but there's a solidity there that makes me think they can survive. Sunderland, though, have also invested really well. Watch out for Adingra to become their talisman. So in terms of who is taking that drop with Burnley and Sunderland, Brentford are a side a lot of people are worried about this season. Losing Thomas Frank, Brian Mbeumo, Christian Norgard and Mark Flecken in one window is a massive blow to the spine of their team. But like Brighton, Brentford are run so well and their recruitment reflects that. Quaveen Keller in goal is a huge upgrade. He'll win them a load of points, he'll make a ton of saves, and he'll bring a calm presence to that back line. Jordan Henderson's leadership qualities and experience are needed for a tough season, and it's brilliant to see him and Granit Xhaka back in the Premier League, even if it is at opposite ends of the country than you'd expect them to be in. Up top, Thiago. Admittedly, I don't know too much about him, but online chatter suggests he's ready to take on goal-scoring duties, so he could be key. Brentford's smart setup and knack for finding gems give me confidence they'll be fine, and I'm intrigued to see how they might invest between now and the end of the window, especially if someone like Johan Wissa leaves. So it's not Brentford. I'm actually going with Wolves to go down. I just think there's something uninspiring about them right now. There's a lack of quality in that squad, lack of Premier League proven talent. Mateus Cunha has gone out, Ryan Aït-Nouri's gone out. They have recruited in attack to compensate for that loss of Cunha, but those names don't scream Premier League reliability to me. So yeah, I'm just a bit worried about them and I don't see them staying up. Okay, now it's the fun part, the top 5 and the champions. Let's work our way up the table. So in 5th place, I've got Chelsea. All being well with the UEFA coefficients, I think they're a lock for Champions League football, but I think they're still a year or 2 away from seriously challenging for that Premier League title. The one glaring issue is obviously their goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. He's just not that guy for a team with their ambitions. They need a top-tier keeper to take that next step up. And it'll also be interesting to see if Enzo Maresca can navigate a second season, something that Chelsea managers have historically struggled with. Their squad depth, though, is insane, and with the new Champions League format's volatility, I wouldn't count them out for a deep run there, especially after that Club World Cup win. They've got the tools, it's just about putting it all together. In 4th place, I'm actually going with Manchester United. Like I said earlier, they could be a surprise package this season. With no European football to distract them, Ruben Amorim couldn't have his ducks lined up any nicer. They've revamped their attack, they've got a new look front 3, and potential incoming signings still, with Carlos Baleba linked, Donnarumma might come in. Those would be game changers for them. United have had the odd strong league campaign in recent years despite their struggles, and this feels like it could be one of those, provided the system clicks, of course. Just bear in mind though, Manchester United's history of post-hype disappointment does loom large. That being said, I see them sneaking into the top 4. In third place, they're not going to be the bridesmaids this year. I'm going with Arsenal. This is shaping up to be one of the most competitive Premier League seasons ever, and I know we say that every year, but you can't deny it either. Arsenal could be one of the best third-placed sides in recent memory. They'll push the top 2 close, extremely close, I think, and they seem to have addressed all their weaknesses. Their squad is arguably the most settled amongst the top sides, and they are due a trophy, but I don't see the Premier League being that trophy. Mikel Arteta has transformed this side into a relentless unit. They've got the best defence in the league, there's no doubt about that. But I'm just not convinced he's the one to get them over the line for the Premier League title. That's not a slight on him. I just think the others are better. So they're an amazing team, one of the best in Europe, but they're just not as good as the other two for me. That leaves us with yet another Manchester City and Liverpool title race. Unsurprisingly, a lot of football fans got carried away last season, declaring Pep Guardiola's side finished and washed, but their demise was exaggerated, of course. It just shows the insane standards that they've set over the last decade. Pep loves the shopping spree as well, as we know, whether it's January or July, or both. And things were never going to stay doom or gloom, were they? Apparently they're now looking at Rodrigo, and they might even hijack that Donnarumma move to United. The prospect of Rodri and Reinders in the midfield is massively reassuring for City fans. Even if Rodri is going to miss the start of the season, if they can figure out how to line up behind Haaland, and especially contributing more goals from the wide areas, they'll be lethal. Then there's Bernardo Silva. He's now the club captain, but he's probably not going to be a guaranteed starter this season, but it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that because he's one of Pep Guardiola's most trusted lieutenants. City are going to be back in business, but I think they'll just fall short. That's right. For the champions, I'm going with the reigning defending champions. I'm going for my club Liverpool to go back to back. There's so much to unpack, but I've decided I'm not going to overthink it. I haven't predicted us to win the Premier League since 2020, so I'm trusting my instincts here. We won the league last season with largely the same squad from the year before, but Arne Slot's now shopping and shaping the squad in his own image, and why not? We weren't perfect despite that Premier League title last year. Alisson Becker remains the best goalkeeper in the world, but Kerkez, he should sort out our issues at left back from last season. I still think we're a centre-back light though, and I'm hoping Mark Gahey comes in before the end of the window. Can you believe that since Virgil van Dijk signed at the back end of 2017, the only centre-back we've signed since then and now has been Ibrahima Konate? That's insane. And who knows, Gio Leone, who's just come in from Italy, he might show us all that he's ready for the Premier League at just 18. The midfield looks solid with Dominic Szoboszlai in a deeper role this year, something to keep an eye on there, and rotating him, Gravenberch and McAllister in that pivot. It's a dream scenario for depth, but it's another systematic change to bear in mind. The attack has evolved massively. The tragic loss, of course, of Diogo Jota, but also the sales of Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz. So there's work to do there. Ekitike brings a lot of promise, and if we sign Isak, for me it'll genuinely feel like Manchester United's Robin van Persie move back in 2013 when they broke the record for the most league titles and went on to win number 20. I think if Isak comes in, it would be like that, and he'd push us to our record-breaking 21st title. And I haven't even mentioned Florian Wirtz, worth every penny of that £100 million fee. He's a creative force that we haven't had since the likes of Coutinho, and his presence will be transformative. There's still a lot of work to do, things are looking exciting on paper, and I'm cautious about getting ahead of myself here. It's a lot of change to expect to happen pretty much instantly, but I've got enough faith in the club and the players to get the job done. Liverpool to win the title, just edging out City in a tight race. So, let me know what you thought, and if you like the video and subscribe, I might upload again in the next 3 years. See ya!